Is the Eagles Super Bowl hype train for real? Are they ready to make it to the Super Bowl? Are they really good enough? Are they that good? It's just something that I've been thinking about because normally there's something negative always going on, and that brings us down. But this year, even with the negativity, this elite football team known as the Eagles is seeming to ignore all the distractions. They're elite, and the distractions don't work. It's like a perfect recipe. So we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk Sixers. We're going to talk Phillies, but of course, mainly the Eagles. I got a whole bunch of Eagles threads to pull on today. Trending in the AM, live on the STT Sports Network with your thoughts and opinions in 30 seconds.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 woo!
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM, right here on the STT Sports Network, setting the trends for what sports talk should be. Guys, please, wherever you're watching, YouTube or Twitter, please smash that like button, subscribe, and share it out. It is free. Doesn't cost a dime, not even a penny, to support a local content creator, support a channel like this that's growing, while the other channels are laying people off and the other channels are spending big money on big names just to be the same. Support that local content creator. It goes a long way. So smash that like, subscribe, and share button, guys. I'm Phil Stiefel, your host every single morning here on the STT Sports Network. You can find me on all social media platforms. My handle is at Bearded Knowledge. I'd greatly appreciate a follow. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. That's where you find me, guys. And I'm asking a simple question to start today's show. Is the Eagles Super Bowl hype train, is it for real? Is it legit? Is it actually going to happen again? Are the Eagles, despite having the worst quarterback in the history of football, are the Eagles, despite having a clown head coach, are the Eagles actually the best team in the NFC right now? And I don't think there's any argument to be made that this is anything more than legit. This is not hype. This is not homerism. This is not the Eagles, just, being lucky or overachieving. The Eagles are legit the best team in the NFC, and I think the hype is 1,000% for real. Yeah, we got a game this week with the Washington Commanders. We'll talk about the Commanders a little bit today, a lot more tomorrow. But I sit here and I think, and I talk about the Eagles defense, comparing them to 1991. I sit here and think about how through 14 games that LaShawn McCoy's record, 16-game record, was broken by Saquon Barkley. I sit here and think about A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith finally getting out of their slump with Jalen Hurts last week against a great Steelers team. I sit here and I look at this team, and I kind of feel like it is the most complete team in the NFL. And not just that, physically on the field, the most complete team. Off the field, mentally speaking, they're so tough. No matter what drama gets thrown their way, it just gets shrugged off. And they're right back to dominating instantly. And I find it very, very interesting that they can avoid all the drama, that they can avoid all the outside noise and just continue to win. Because that's what it is. It's outside noise. So the question is the hype for real? And I think it's 1,000% for real. Noom says right now is not hype, just an honest evaluation. And I think that's a very great way to start the show off, because this is not me being a homer saying this. This is not me just randomly spewing fandom here. This is me realizing that this Eagles team, from top to bottom, is complete. This is also one of the most healthy teams in football at this point. Honestly, the only important person that's not playing right now is Dallas Goedert, and he should be back soon. This is real. This is just honest. What's up, little G? How you doing this morning? Better Eagles, 24th season. Better Eagles beat Commanders. Eagles 27, Commanders 14. Nice score prediction there. We'll get to score predictions tomorrow. Stevie Fuentes, what's up? Sirianni, wash the clown makeup off during the bye week when the haircut happened. I like that. I like that way of saying it. He washed the clown makeup off as he was getting the haircut. He's been the coach of the year so far. I think it's a travesty. I don't know where he's at in the coach of the year betting odds, but I do know not too long ago he was like 20th in the betting odds, like when they were on game 7 or 8 of this win streak. It's crazy the lack of respect from Duck that Nick Sirianni gets for the way he's able to hold this team together. Because despite all the outside noise, this week we have Jay Glazer putting out a report saying that Big Dom and Brandon Graham had to go to Jalen Hurts' house during the bye week to help him connect with his teammates more. Both Jalen Hurts and Brandon Graham refuted that report, but, seriously, it's kind of crazy. It doesn't matter what happens. Sirianni holds them together. Judge, you say it's legit. I don't disagree one bit. It's legit. It's real. It's not hype. It's legit. Our biggest blank. Are you playing the match game here or something like that? I got to guess what the biggest is. Who's this? Authentic and the beard says Commanders fan here who does an NFC East show, and I will agree with you. The hype is real. I believe the Eagles are a Super Bowl contender. Coming straight from our opponent's mouth this week. And I love to chat with you about this week's game because I kind of feel like this week's game, I don't want to say it's meaningless for the Commanders, but it's not a must win for the Commanders. They have to win 1 or 2 of their last few games, they got some easy games after the Eagles. This is not that important. It's not that important for the Eagles unless they really, truly believe they have a chance at the 1 seed, which they have an outside shot at. This is a game the Eagles can kind of fall asleep in, but this is also a game that the Commanders aren't hyped for. I will say this. My man Sia Najad, who is fantastic in the gambling circles and sports circles. I love my man Sia Najad. He was on his show last night, and he had somebody talking about this game, and they said how the Eagles don't care because next week's Dallas, and that's their biggest rival. I'll just tell everybody in Eagles Nation and anywhere in the intraweb, worldwide intraweb, that Dallas is not the Eagles' number 1 rival. It's the Giants and the Commanders. The Cowboys are legit the third most important game on our schedule every year. It's the Giants and the Commanders 100%. So we're not looking ahead of this game for next week's game against the Cowboys because we don't care about that as much as this week. Plus the Eagles are focused laser on just the next game. They're on that next game up mentality right now. Our biggest concern with the roster was cornerback and linebacker. We now have some of the best cornerbacks and linebacker play in the league. Nobody could have foreseen Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean playing at the level they are. I mean, we all knew Quinion Mitchell was going to be a talent. We all had a lot of hype for Cooper DeJean. We didn't know where he was going to play. None of us could have foreseen Quinion Mitchell not just playing at a defensive rookie of the year level. I can make a case that he should be an all-pro. I can make a case that he should be in the top 5 or 6 conversation of defensive player of the year. Linebacker Zach Bond should be a defensive player of the year candidate right now. Nobody foresaw that happening. The other thing we were struggling with, Judd, was edge rush. Now, all of a sudden, the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, Nolan Smith's becoming a force. Nolan Smith's finally settling in and figuring things out. So all our weaknesses, or so-called weaknesses, have turned into strengths. That's crazy. I could not have foreseen the defensive turnaround that the Eagles had from last year to this year. I mean, we are legitimately the number 1 team in football. We have only given up more than 20 points 4 times this year. Only once. More than 30 points. The 1991 Eagles defense, a 16-game season, gave up more than 26 times. It's kind of crazy how special this defense has become. And the defense, the offense is the offense. We know they're the best running team in football, great offensive line, a very strong quarterback, elite wide receivers. Obviously, the offense is great. But nobody could have told me at the beginning of this season that the Eagles would have the best defense in football, and I would have believed them. I would never have believed it. Good morning, Adam. Hope you are well. That's right. Go Birds. First year post-Kelsey, trusted rookies to start. Weeks missing AJ, Smitty, or even both the times. Goddard out half the season. Brandon Graham long. The locker room drama. Sirianni has coached a hell of a season. Look at this. I mean, this is a fantastic summarization of everything here. And you say, first year without Kelsey, you could throw in Fletcher Cox there as well. First year post-Kelsey and Cox. And we haven't missed a beat. Sirianni, I don't know where Duck is early this morning. Duck would definitely disagree with you, Stevie. But, I mean, just think about that. Think about how this season has gone. All the not the controversy, all the obstacles that this team has had to overcome. And we're sitting here on a 10-game winning streak, 12-2. I mean, with a chance for the number one seed. It's a tough chance, but it's still a chance. Still something that the Detroit Lions are up to like 22 names now on IR. I think the opportunity is there. And if the Eagles can win out, that they could be that number one seed. Super Bowl contenders, and they don't play offense in the first quarter. They did last week, Judd. They did put up 10 in the first quarter last week. So there's another thing. So it seems like whatever weaknesses this team has, they're solving them. They're fixing them. Even the first quarter deficiencies got worked out last week. They're this good already and can clean up some things and be, yeah, I mean, there are still things that they can clean up. For sure. And they're already one of the 2 or 3 best teams in football, the best in the NFC. Smith especially, but practically every player that was in a position to step up this year didn't miss a stride. Like, I was a big fan of Cam Jurgens. I was not a fan of moving him from right guard to center. I know we drafted him to replace Kelsey. But I'm like, he's playing all-pro level right guard. Why would you want to do that? What are you going to do with right guard? And the Eagles said, no, that's what we're doing. Now, Cam Jurgens has one thing he's got to work on, and that's his shotgun snap. I mean, it's every game there's 1 or 2 high snaps out of the shotgun formation or the pistol formation. Him and Jalen Hurts definitely have to work on that exchange a little bit better. I actually think on the tush push they've even had a fumble or 2 or bobbled snap or 2. But who would have thought you're losing a surefire first ballot Hall of Fame center, and you're putting a second-year player that spent his first year at right guard, and you're just going to throw him in there. You know what? He did not skip a beat, and it's pretty damn special. Travis, long time no see. Well, this surprise one-game passing attack is fishy because Hurts is not Brady with his reads. He's still slow but improving. Look, we're not making this show any negative about Jalen Hurts, but we could discuss and critique where his weaknesses still lie. Jalen Hurts has done what he did last week, Travis, before. He has not been called upon to do it this year. There's a reason why we were on pace to break the single-season rushing record of Eric Dickerson this year. Obviously, and I did it a few weeks ago, I went over the numbers, the difference in that run-passing game. It's only like 6 or 7 plays swaying from one way to the other. Too many days ago to go through the notes and find the exact numbers. Like the amount of plays that Saquon Barkley gets versus pass plays, whatever, compared to DeAndre Swift or Miles Sanders. It's 6-7 plays. Jalen Hurts can obviously be better at certain aspects of his game. But it's about time. I mean, we're 4 years into it now as Jalen Hurts is a starter. And it's about time we accept what Jalen Hurts said. Jalen Hurts who Jalen Hurts is. Let's not make him something he isn't. Jalen Hurts excels playing quarterback a certain way. We should accept it. He's never going to be Tom Brady. He's never going to be Peyton Manning. The biggest struggle we had in the Donovan McNabb era was trying to make Donovan McNabb a pocket passer, which he was never going to be. And that's where you got wormball McNabb. You let Jalen Hurts play his game, whether it's in a run-first offense or a pass-first offense like 2022, let him play his game the way he has. Design your offense around what his strengths are. Stop trying to change who Jalen Hurts is at this point. Just agree that who he is a winning quarterback. And then once you accept that and not try to make him something, you can really appreciate what he is. Brady said on the broadcast, Jalen needs to be quicker on his read multiple times. He even said he missed a few open receivers. There was a lot of good back and forth love about Jalen Hurts on Sunday. And good to be back. Good to have you back. Merry Christmas to you as well. Let's normalize saying Merry Christmas. If you believe in Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas, you are more than welcome to say Merry Christmas to me. Jalen Hurts got praised by Brady on some throws and criticized on others. That's fine. But we got to accept who Jalen Hurts is. Jalen Hurts is never going to be a natural, pure quarterback. Not only on snaps, but Kelsey was also the most athletic lineman. I don't know. Cam Jurgens is pretty damn athletic. Cam Jurgens might be stronger and faster than Jason Kelsey ever was. And maybe 5 years from now, I'm just saying maybe in 5 years, we might be talking about Cam Jurgens as the best center in Eagles history. We might be. I don't know. He's that athletically freaky. And he's learning from Stoutland University. I mean, I said it before, Adam. I don't think an offensive line coach who's solely been an offensive line coach has ever made the Hall of Fame. Let me tell you something. With what he's done with Jordan Mailata alone, Mekhi Becton, Tyler Steen, Isaac Sayamalu, just give him a gold jacket and have a whole wing in the Hall of Fame just for Jeff Stoutland and Stoutland U. I was all aboard the fire this clown train. Hand up, LOL. But Sirianni won me over after the Ravens game. But after out-coaching Tomlin Sunday, he solidified his job. So he solidified his job. That's great. Is there a scenario where if they get knocked out in the first or second round, you're going to be back on the fire Nick Sirianni train? Or has he done enough to prove to you that he should stay here long-term? It's a question. It's an interesting question. Jalen has a league high 3.6 seconds in the pocket, I've seen the numbers. I think it's something like that, 3.6 seconds, Travis, and I get it. But see, here's the thing. We criticize fine details of Jalen Hurts' game. Certain things that we want him to do differently. But the thing is, what he does well, or who he is, has led us to, let me pull that number back up, a 45-16 record with him as a starter over the last 3.5 years since he started taking over in 2021. 45-16, doing it his way. But yet we're so focused on wanting him to do it a different way. Well, why is that? Why can't we just focus on Jalen Hurts' strengths, build this team to his strengths, and focus on it that way? Because I think that is the most important thing. You know, focusing on a team's strengths, and we could back out and go big picture. This Eagles team's strength is running the football, right? Why would we want to become a passing team? On defense, certain styles of defense were run in the first 2, 3, 4 weeks of the season. It didn't work. We found a defensive scheme that works, and we're sticking to it. We're not changing who we are. The key to success is to realizing what your team does well. And this works in all forms of business. If I got 4 employees at my pizza shop, 2 are great cooks and 2 are great on the phone with customers, I'm not putting the cooks on the phone and the counter people in the kitchen who don't know how to make a pizza. You put your people in a position where they can succeed. You don't ask them to do things they can't succeed doing. Maybe off to the side you try to train them to do things differently, but you focus on your strengths, and that's how you win. Interesting to think about. If the Eagles flame out in the playoffs, is Nick right back in the hot seat? Exactly. Like, we came into this season, Judd, talking on these shows about would he make it through the bye week, or what he had to have a level of success wise. I remember talking on the show. Does he got to get to the championship game? Does it matter if he loses to Detroit in the second round or whatever? All the different hypotheticals I was throwing out there before the season and the early parts of the season. They're 12-2. He's overcome or helped this team overcome. He's coached this team to overcome so many obstacles. This team loves him. Say we face Washington right now. I think if the playoffs started today, we'd be facing Washington in round one, which would be the third matchup against Washington. It's hard to beat a team 3 times, Judd. Say Washington beats us, or say we lose to Washington and then we go and lose to Minnesota in the second round. Just say that. Say we get beat by Minnesota in the second round, say 38-14. It's a complete and total disaster. Does Nick Sirianni get fired? Say we have to face Tampa, and Tampa beats us again. Does Nick Sirianni get fired? I think it's a question. I think it's an honest question. I mean, I'm good with Nick Sirianni. I think Nick Sirianni is a strong enough coach. I think getting us to the playoffs 4 straight years and to 1 Super Bowl appearance at least is something very few coaches can say they do or have done. I think Nick Sirianni, like that, would get hired elsewhere. There's enough bad coaching around the NFL that Nick Sirianni would get hired pretty damn quickly. We love Jalen. He's really A+ in all other things, but with Batman's 26 catching ability, we could just lay back in the second half and let the bench play. I would like to see the bench play a little bit more in the next couple of weeks. Now, it's the way he has handled it all for me in the mature professional manner he has, not the high school coach way he was in the past. No hot seat for me anymore. Wow. I love to see that transition from you, Steve. I do. I'm glad. I'm glad that that's where you're at right now. That's where your head is at. Because that leads me to believe that you're willing and you're open-minded to see the pros and the cons and to accept that your opinion might have been wrong. I've admitted my opinion was wrong so many times. Hell, I was the one that said I didn't want Saquon Barkley here. And I moved on. I moved on. If Washington blew us out by 4 touchdowns, that would be crazy, wouldn't it? It would. Have faith, Judd. This team different, especially the D. This defense, I've said it before, and Travis, you haven't been around in a while, and Judd's not always here. I've been talking this week that some of you are older. Judd's pretty young, but some of you are older. I've been talking all week that this Eagles defense, and let me tell you something, it's a bold claim. It's one that not a lot of people agree with, that this Eagles defense right now is better than the 1991 Reggie White-led defense. It really is. And I watched that defense play football. I was a middle schooler at that point. Maybe I didn't know the X's and O's, but I watched it. This Eagles defense is better. What's up, Jose? Live upstate New York and talking that drive to Buffalo to exchange gifts with my daughter since weather will be bad next week. So I figured I'd wear my Eagles gear to stir shit up. Hey, look, Eagles Buffalo Super Bowl would be fantastic. It really would be. I would love it. And Merry Christmas to you. What's up? Christopher Darker. I think the thing that sucks about having Sirianni as coach is we're going to have our offense coordinators poached, and he's not a good play caller. Yeah, so I've talked about this before on this show, that either A, the Eagles better be training someone else to take over for Kellen Moore, or B, we've got to find a way to convince Kellen Moore to stay at least one more season. You know, Detroit was able to convince Ben Johnson, or whatever his name is, to stay as the offense coordinator under Campbell. Can you give Kellen Moore, coaching salaries don't count against the salary cap. Can you pay Kellen Moore almost head coaching money to keep him around as the OC? Got to find – I know Kellen Moore has the desire to be a head coach, but can we? Can we find a way to make that work? Because I would love – the last time the Eagles had the same offense coordinator for 2 seasons, we went to the Super Bowl. Now, we might go to the Super Bowl this year. But let me tell you something. Jalen Hurts has only had that one time of having back-to-back the same coordinators. That's tough for any player. Tough for any team. The great thing on defense is Vic Fangio has said this is it. You don't want to be head coach, and this is his last job. If he ever gets fired from the Eagles, he's retiring. So at least on the defensive side, the other thing on the defensive side, a lot of these positional coaches, King, Hurt, a lot of these guys, the D-backs coach, the linebackers coach, the linemen's coach, they're going to get poached. So that's something to be concerned about. I have faith, Travis. Yeah, let's just have faith. I don't think you need to have faith in this Eagles team. The faith is pretty simple. They're that great that you just should do. So 61. So that means we've gained one. We start the show at 307 subscribers. Please, if you're watching, please hit subscribe. Please, please, please. If we're at 308, I wanted to get to 500 by the end of the year. It's going to be a push. But the race for 500 is here. Please, everybody go out today and find one or two people to subscribe to this channel. It would mean the world to me. That's before my time. I know it's before your time. But that 1991 defense, phenomenal. But this team's better. They had the star names. Reggie White, bring it home for Jerome, Clyde Simmons, Seth Joyner, Eric Allen should be a Hall of Famer. This team's got rookies and Zach Bond and a first-round bust in Nolan Smith and Brandon Graham. Their leader's hurt. They lost Fletcher Cox before the season. But this team plays a certain way as a team defense. It's pretty special, in my opinion. Me 19. This team is especially the D. Absolutely. Fangio should be safe. He doesn't want to be. Fangio ain't going anywhere. He's already said it, and I think he said it multiple times. That this is it for him. This is the last trip around on the carousel for him. He's pretty much done. Tell Kellen back-to-back Super Bowl wins looks better on his resume. Yeah, that'd be nice. They got to find a way. If Detroit can find a way, I mean, and honestly, Kellen Moore, what head coaching opportunity that's going to be available this season is even that intriguing to anybody? What would you rather coach? Be the offensive coordinator making? We're just going to make up random numbers. Say an offensive coordinator can max out at $5 million, a head coach at $8 million. I think is what Nick Sirianni makes. What would you rather make? $5 million coaching the offense of a Super Bowl contender, or $7 million coaching the Dallas Cowboys or the New York Giants or the New York Jets or whoever else? You really want to go to the Raiders for $2 million more? Like seriously. If I'm Kellen Moore, I want to stay in Philly. It's a great city. You got talent all over. Damn. Stick it out. Hang around. Nick is a player's head coach, and Kellen Vic calls the plays for. Yeah, look, there's something with the player's coach, the CEO coach. I think Nick Sirianni has settled into his role beautifully. Younger fans need to watch the 7-play goal line stand against the Cardinals or 5-play 4th and 1 against Dallas. That was defense. The 5-play 4th and 1. I always call it 4th and 1 times 2. Everyone wants to stay in Philly. Was saying, who wouldn't want to be? Why wouldn't you want to be an offensive coordinator or a player on the Eagles when you got Saquon Barkley? Like, seriously. I don't think Kellen Moore has had the best of seasons calling plays. I think the defense has allowed the offense to thrive because of the field position. That's an interesting theory and thread to pull on there. I think Kellen Moore's play calling's been good, but maybe not great this year. I think Kellen Moore might be the benefactor of Saquon Barkley in this offensive line. I think Kellen Moore, yeah, like I said it before we hired him when I knew he was one of the options. That Kellen Moore has been a good play caller, but he's not great. Maybe we're overhyping Kellen Moore to an extent because of all the options he has on this team. You know, before he came to this team, he flamed out in Dallas. He did nothing with the Chargers. Hell, he had everybody's favorite NFL quarterback, Justin Herbert. They still had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams on that team and Austin Eckler, and he didn't do anything special there. Dallas had CD and Dak and whatnot and Tony Pollard, and they didn't do anything there. So Kellen Moore, while he's having a great season, I mean, it's pretty hard not to have a great season as a play caller when you have the weapons you have here. Cooper DeJean needs to be in the Rookie of the Year. I looked yesterday because I saw that Quinion was the favorite for Rookie of the Year on defense. I'm like, I wonder if there's any odds, period, on Cooper DeJean. He wasn't even on the DraftKings board, Travis. You couldn't even place a bet. And I thought that was pretty damn insulting. You could put him at 1,000 to 1. But his name being on there would have meant something, and it's not. Minus the 10-minute drive to finish the Steelers. Dude, that 10-minute drive to close out that game, it still makes me giddy just thinking about it. Duck, you're in the conversation finally. So all the Nick Sirianni love is going to go out the window now that Duck is here. I will hate having to let go of so many stars on this team. There's not many stars that are going to walk away. Travis. Offensively speaking, Mekhi Becton is the only one of the starters on offense that's a free agent. Defensively, Milton Williams and Zach Bond, they're big issues. But that's it. Most of this team is locked up for 2025. Majority of this team will be back next year. What's up, Rick? How you doing? Was your show on the past 2 days? Tuesday, had some personal things to take care of in the morning. I mentioned on Monday I wouldn't be doing a show on Tuesday. I did a show Tuesday night to make up for it. And because Tuesday was such a long day, I took yesterday off and slept till 8 a.m., which was extremely refreshing. Even though I slept till 8 a.m., at 6:35, I woke up yesterday in a panic that I wasn't awake yet, even without my alarm going off, because my brain is so trained to wake up at 6:30 every day to do this show. Taking a day off was very hard to do. But I needed. We had a very, very long personal day on Tuesday, so I had to take it off. But yeah, and yesterday I needed that break. But we're back at it today, and the Tuesday night show is always fun. Doing a show at night occasionally helps bring in a new audience to the channel. So we found a few new subscribers by doing a PM show as well. Oh my God, 8 a.m. That's crazy. I don't sleep till 8 a.m. often. It's normally a 6:30 wake up call for me every day for this. But it was like I set my alarm for 8 a.m. yesterday. And at 6:35, I roll over. I look at my phone. I'm like, shit, I'm awake at 6:35. Oh man, I got a show to do. Oh no, that's right. I'm not doing a show today. So I rolled back over and slept for another hour and change. It was good. My body needed it. Thank you. All in good time. We'll discuss it. But back to the Eagles. Because Duck's here. And there's a lot of love, or as the cool kids would say, glazing on Nick Sirianni. There are people in the chat that are saying they've turned the page on Nick Sirianni and are accepting who Nick Sirianni is. I think that's pretty special. And I want to see Duck say something nice about the clown coach that has led this team to this point, to the point that the Super Bowl hype is for real, because that's what we're talking about. It's not even hype. It's a legit thing. It really is. And a big part of the reason why we have this legit chance to make it back to the Super Bowl is because of Nick Sirianni. Holding this team together through all this controversy. Holding this team together through a 10-game winning streak. I think it's pretty special. The other part of the conversation that I want to add to it is when we're talking about what would happen to Nick Sirianni if he lost to X, Y, or Z at certain points of the playoffs. Who is the biggest threat to the Eagles in the NFC? And I do have a poll going online right now on X. Yes, I said the word poll. 172 votes in just about 14 hours. I put the Lions, the Vikings, the Packers, and other. And the Lions are winning this poll, 46%. They're our biggest threat. I don't think so. I think with the injuries, I think that they are, the injuries are going to catch up to them. A lot of love for the Green Bay Packers, second place in the voting here. Vikings, third. A lot of comments for Tampa Bay in the comments of other. And then a lot of comments in the other that we are our own worst enemy come playoff time. We can only beat ourselves come playoff time. That no team can match up with us on any given Sunday. It's up to us. It would be up to us if we lost the game in the NFC. And I love that comment right there. We can only hurt or harm ourselves at this point. Sirianni has a winning record with the personality and self-control of a 5-year-old. But it works. I mean, his record speaks that it works, right? So at least you could say is if you're dead set that he's got this 5-year-old personality, it does work. And just like we spent before you got here, Duck, about 10 minutes discussing, stop trying to change who Jalen Hurts is. Jalen Hurts is a winner. Yeah, he has flaws in his game, sure. But he also has things he excels in. So let's accept who these people are and work around it. And I think that's what Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts do so well. They work around what they have. They have X amount of talent. And they maximize what they got. They're not trying to turn them into something that they aren't. And I think that's such a big key in this. The NFL is constantly trying to make quarterbacks into something they're not. And I forget which show it was that I saw a clip from. And they were talking about that, about how the media and the fans still have not accepted non-traditional pocket passing quarterbacks. But this league is full of non-traditional quarterbacks. I'm a Knicks fan now because he's winning, and Lou Holtz said, while you can still talk, if you're winning, no one can touch you. That's true. If you're winning, no one can touch you. We're the best of both worlds. Eagles are young and they're hungry. You got to love a hungry team, right? Hungry dogs are the best. Our biggest threat, guys, is the Bucks. We still own 2. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't. I think I would want to face them at least in the playoffs, Travis. Like, really, legitly. I don't know how any Eagles fan could go into a playoff matchup against the Buccaneers and feel confident. Like, seriously, eventually we got to find a way to beat them. But, man, let's hope we don't have to. The city, Rick says, is lucky to have Sirianni here. I agree. 1,000%. Something about Todd Bold, the kryptonite. Oh, Todd Bowles. Sorry. Todd Bowles is the kryptonite. Absolutely. And Todd Bowles is one of those guys, fantastic defense coordinator. As the kids would say, very mid head coach. He's only really good against the Eagles. We always stomp on Lions and Vikings. Yeah. Bucks somehow just have our and I don't understand. I mean, Travis and Duck both saying the Bucks, like, I don't understand. Like, how can one team have beaten so many different incarnations of this Eagles team? Like, it's just shocking to me. Playoffs, regular season, Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield, it don't matter. They always find a way to whoop our ass, and it's insanity to me because the Buccaneers are not better than the Eagles. Even this year when we lost to them, we held Mike Evans in check, their best player. Look, Joel Embiid is our kryptonite. Mitchie Poo trying to throw basketball. Basketball and baseball can be discussed today. Still got about 40 minutes left in the show. Joel Embiid and the Sixers are stuck in mud, Mitchie Poo, in my opinion. They can't be buyers at the deadline, but yet they can't tank because they're too good to tank. Like, they're stuck in 2012 where they're going to be a fringe playoff team and be done really quickly. And they're stuck in a spot where they can't actually even make improvements for the future. This team is stuck in mud because of Joel Embiid and Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey, Joel Embiid, and Paul George. We'll throw all those names in there. That's right. Sirianni is a lucky mascot for this team because he's not a great OC, but he's not the OC. He's the head coach. And I don't think he's mentally unstable. I think he knows exactly what he's doing, Duck. Nick Sirianni knows exactly what he's doing. He knows how to push the right buttons for his team, and he knows how to keep them together. No matter what controversies happen this year, this team is not falling apart. Jay Glazer tried to start something new this week. That Brandon Graham and Big Dom had to go to Jalen Hurts' house. That could have blown up. Jalen Hurts and Brandon Graham shot that rumor down, and it's no big deal. Soon, traditional style quarterbacks will only exist once a quarterback gets to a certain age and can't run anymore. I like that, Steve. I think the traditional quarterback is going to be the mobile, athletic quarterback. Look around the league at all the young quarterbacks right now. They're just getting started, like the Jaden Daniels, who we faced this week, with the Washington Commanders. C.J. Stroud. Jordan Love is a very mobile, active quarterback. He might not be the runner that Hurts is, but a lot of the young quarterbacks that come into this league are athletic. Normally, and that comes from the fact that nowadays in college and in high school, the most athletic player is normally your best player. And they normally put the best player at quarterback. So a majority of the time, the most athletic player is going to become a quarterback. And that's just the way teams in college and high school are running their programs. So when it gets to the pro level, they're getting drafted as quarterback. Look at the traditional young quarterbacks that have come out recently, like Zach Wilson. Sam Darnold's just getting there to a little bit of success. A lot of the traditional quarterbacks aren't finding success in the NFL. Levante David. What about Levante David? Did I miss something there? The Tampa defense is decent. It is, because it's coached by Todd Bowles. People used to say the Patriots had our number, then we beat them in the Super Bowl. Eagles will smoke the Bucs when we play them again. This team fears nobody. This team does not fear anybody. I fear the Bucs, but that's just because I've been hurt by them far too many times. See, I think the Sixers should be tanking for the season. They just don't have an ability. See, there's enough talent on this team, Rick, to tank, we only have our first round pick. It's top 6 picks protected. So you got to be really bad to fall in those top 6 picks in the draft. Honestly, to have a real shot at a top 6, you got to finish with one of the 3 or 4 worst records. It's just not going to happen. So you can't really tank, because if you tank and you finish in the 7th seed, you don't get a draft pick, then you're screwed. So I don't see their ability to tank. That's the problem. Another thing I wanted to throw into the conversation, we're going to mainly stick to Eagles, but Sixers are there if you want to talk it. Phillies. Dave Dombrowski is a Hall of Fame executive, but not a Hall of Fame Phillies executive. And I think Dave Dombrowski is kind of pulling on the Doc Rivers strings of mine. He was elite. He's not elite anymore. Am I crazy to say that this is the worst stop on Dave Dombrowski's resume over the last 20 years? Barry Sanders doc is lit. I didn't even know when did they do a Barry Sanders doc? I was a huge Barry Sanders fan as a kid. Oh, man, Chad, I love that dude. I think I even had a rookie card of his that I was a pride and joy of mine for a little while. You need to bring back the Goddard jersey in the back so he can stay healthy. Oh, it's my fault? I don't do the jersey hanging. I don't even know where all my jerseys are. When we moved here 6-8 months ago, didn't even unpack them. But maybe it is my fault. And that's not true, because Goddard got hurt last year, too. Never saw such a winning coach get roasted so much in a city. He just wins, and just sounds like haters putting out hate for no good reason. Look, there's the Jalen Hurts hate train. There's the Nick Sirianni. If you're not getting hated in Philly for something, you're not doing it right. I don't call it hate, really, Rick. I call it passion. I call it stubborn Philadelphianisms. All of us Philadelphia people, Rick, whether we're sports fans or not, whether we're Eagles fans or not, we're stubborn in some way. We're all stubborn. And some people get stuck on a certain opinion in sports. Me, on the other hand, I'm the guy that brags about my bad takes. Yes, I was wrong. No, we've done whole shows in the past of I was wrong. Like, asking for forgiveness. We've done that because I'm the only one that will admit my mistakes to that level. The Jalen Hurts Glaze show. We're going to turn this into, we're going to come up with some kind of wording and do a Jalen Hurts Glaze show. Top 6 is why they should tank for this season only. But see, the thing is, I don't think they can get to top 6. Like with Paul George playing most games, Tyrese Maxey here, there's enough talent on this team that unless you just sit everybody for the rest of the year, I don't think they're bad enough to not miss out on that top 6. Or they're good enough where they can't tank for that top 6. Even if you sit Joel the rest of the year, they'll finish somewhere in that 7 to 10 range. And then it was all for naught. The only way you can really work on tanking is if you trade Paul George and if you were allowed to trade Joel Embiid. You're not allowed to trade Joel Embiid, and it'll be hard to trade Paul George. I was a massive Barry Sanders fan. I had a Lions lamp. I love Barry. I mean, it really broke my heart when he retired so early in his career, Joe. Try and get some Eagles players on your podcast. Is it costly? Some will. Who was it? This is way back in the day. I had some former Eagles players. I had one Eagles current player on many years ago. Craig James was on a show that I did. I've had Trey Thomas, Jeremy Bridges, Ron Jaworski, former Eagles players there. Fred Barnett. But Leonard Weaver. I had Brian Mitchell on at one point. Leonard Weaver won it $5,000 for a 25-minute appearance. That always shook me. That always pissed me off. Thing is, doing the morning show, it's hard for guests. This show's about you guys. This show's about your opinions. When I get more free time, I want to do more afternoon and evening shows. That'll be when the guests come on and stuff like that. But I need more. I need more time for that. He won it $5,000, Leonard Weaver, to do a 25-minute appearance. I'm like, you ain't that famous, bro. You're not that cool. It's insane. You could have kidnapped me talking to me about Barry Sanders. It's not, oh, kid, I got some candy here to kidnap Joe. Hey, I got a Barry Sanders football card here. And you were jumping in there. I remember, guys, Phil was once at Tobias. Dude, and you know what? Yeah, I was. And then I said I was wrong. Because, Mitch, I admit my mistakes. I am not afraid to say I was wrong on X take. Wasn't. Yeah, 5K for a former fullback. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Get the fook out of here. Who the fook do you think you are? You're Leonard freaking Weaver. I don't even know why we asked Leonard Weaver, but we did. I'm getting big time by Angelo Cataldi right now, so we'll see. Amazing, wonderful. I missed Leonard, the big ass fullback. Yeah, look, and the Eagles are trying to make fullback cool again. They are. So that's good to see. The same fan base that chased Andy Reid out of town for being the opposite personality type that Sirianni can't have it both ways. Look, Andy Reid didn't get chased out of town. Andy Reid needed to go, Rick, at that point, in my opinion. I think he had run his course here in Philadelphia for sure, with the team, with the locker room, with the fans. Very important. Very, 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 very important to understand that. But yeah, we had the boring personality. We hated it. We got the over-the-top personality. We hated it. Common ground. Common ground. You know how Krispy Kreme donuts sign is lit when the donuts are hot and fresh? You need a Jalen Hurts sign to light up when you glaze when the glaze is. You get that made for me, and I'll just go beep. I'll pull it when the Jalen Hurts glazing's happening. What's up, Bruce Bryce Harper? Good morning to you. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm back. I'm just gonna break it to you guys. There aren't a lot more shows left this year. I'm not doing a show Christmas morning, obviously, and then I'm on a cruise from the 29th to the 6th. So next Friday is the last show of the year, and next week's only got 4 shows. So there's 4 shows next week, the rest of the day, and tomorrow. That's 5.5 shows left this year. And I want to get to 500 subscribers. So, guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you've done both of those, click share. I'd greatly appreciate it. Muchas gracias. Andy left in agreement. No fan ran him out of town. Yeah, but there are still fans that say we should have never let him go because look at all the success he's had in Kansas City. You know, so there's that. I hear Patriots quarterback has Josh Allen Mahomes' great energy. Drake May. I know nothing about what Drake May is doing this year, honestly. I don't think he's anything special. I feel the best coach in terms of personality for the Eagles is Nick. Nick Sirianni fits this locker room. He gets his locker room. Where am I going? We're going to the Bahamas. We're leaving out of Jersey on one of those big Royal Caribbean massive mega ships. Going down to the Bahamas. There's 10 of us, family. We go away every year for New Year's, but normally we go to Orlando and just rent a house in a resort area. Then I continue to do my shows on vacation. Going on the cruise. I've got internet on the cruise, but I just really need a break, spend time with family, do that kind of stuff. I'm going to upload videos. I'll do some recordings from the deck and my balcony and whatnot. Maybe I'll do a video, walking around an island or something. But I won't be live for a week there. So Andy Reid is so old you could barely hear him when he left. He runs out of air. Let's not make fun of the big guys for running out of air. Phil, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, and thank you very much. We'll be somewhere warm for a few days for sure. Dang, Phil, you spend more time on a cruise. And what? What? I don't know about that. I love Andy Reid. If Sirianni were to take his lithium, I would support him more. Right now, there is a middle ground to be acting like a fool. I act like a fool every day, so it's like having old Howard Mudd in a wheelchair on the field. Yeah, absolutely. Who worse, Patricia or Juan Castillo? I just heard Juan Castillo's name the other day in the news. Because wherever he's coaching, they fired a coordinator, and somebody made a joke, well, don't promote Juan Castillo to that. Or maybe they made the joke to promote Juan Castillo to that. I don't know. I guess Juan Castillo's coached somewhere. Is Matt Patricia in any football organization this year? I don't even know. Did I see Josh Allen's 3-point shot touchdown? Josh Allen sucks. Phil, take time off. We prefer fresh Phil than dank stale. Are you calling me dank and stale just because I support Nick Sirianni? What? How dare you? Yeah, look, I need a little time off, but I also don't want to commit to doing shows because I don't know how the internet is on a cruise ship anymore. They say it's better than it used to be. Old school cruise ship internet sucked. They say it's better. I think they said they got Starlink on it. I don't know. So maybe I could do a show, and maybe I will. But I'm not making any commitments to doing anything on vacation. I'll bring some of my equipment, not everything, not the mic, not the soundboard. but enough to do some work if I choose to. Never been on a cruise, but some of the ships have pools, and there's a lot on a cruise. There's a lot to do on a cruise. I hope this Christmas season gives you good time. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You too. If I get big and famous, I will charge $69 for each appearance. First off, with that personality, how are you not famous already, Mitch? With those kind of jokes, how are you not doing stand-up? How's Matt Rife not opening for you on the stand-up circuit? How do you not have your own Netflix special, Mitchy Poo, with a personality like that? Patricia is always being the worst in just about every comparison. I think I agree to that, yeah. I hope you get figgy pudding. What? Don't even know what that is. There's great whites in the Bahamas, I think. I don't swim, so whatever. Starling fast, yeah, probably, but is it in the middle of the ocean? I don't know. I bet we have a lot of fans that go to Washington, and we are louder and support the Eagles even better than the Commanders. Absolutely. There's no football team. Hell, there might not be a sports team in the United States that travels. I say that in the United States because there are crazy soccer fans out there internationally, but there's no city that travels for their team in the United States quite like the Philadelphia Eagles fans do. And I fully expect the Commander Stadium, whatever it's called these days, to be packed with Eagles fans. It always is. So I'm sure that other thing I used to advertise for, phillysportstrips.com, I'm sure they got a bus trip going down there. Mitch has his own podcast. Like, oh, I know Mitch. Me and Mitch are pals, Travis. I've been on his show. He's been on my. He's kind of on the do not book list for me, just as a joke. But me and Mitchy are tight. Okay, I got my man Mitch all the time. How Mitch has more subscribers than me is embarrassing. Damn it. Maybe I need to make more 69 jokes. It's satellite in outer space. I know what it is. I just don't know if it'll be good enough or not. We'll find out. And maybe we'll do something. I don't know. Mitchy Poo's Netflix special title, Mitchy Poo, 69 and stopping. Yeah. Man, there's a lot of, talk about Jalen Hurts glaze going on. There's a lot of Mitchy Poo glaze going on in the chat right now. A lot of hype for Mitchy Poo in that chat right now. Too much love, maybe. How's Mitchy Poo getting a Netflix, show before I even get to 500 subscribers? What's up with that? And that is not a VCP. That was an imitation, just so you know. Eagles going to figure out Eagles going to figure out there are legit this week and run over the Commanders so bad they will change their names back to the Washington football team after the game. Maybe. I don't know how to feel. I'll have a prediction tomorrow. We'll get into more of the X's and O's tomorrow. But I'm having trouble figuring it out and getting a pulse on it. Just because I feel like the game doesn't have as much meaning. And I'll throw this out there. Like I said earlier, Sia Nejad's a guest said that the Eagles are going to look past Washington because Dallas next week's our big rival. And I don't think so. I care more about the Washington Commanders matchup every year than the Dallas Cowboys matchup at this point. Who do you rank as the biggest rival for the Philadelphia Eagles at this point? Not just this season. Say over the last 10 or 15 years. Dallas, Washington, New York Giants. I say it's the New York Giants and the Washington Commanders as a bigger rival than the Eagles or than the Cowboys. Phil will get to Netflix show by going 69. Yeah. Mitch will be the only one at 68 that can't wait to get older. Yeah, Mitchy Poo's just gonna he's gonna be the 69. He's never gonna celebrate a birthday again. Man, I highly doubt that. Washington's a damn fine football team. Phil, I feel you and Mitch should do a holiday special on the Eagles. Really, Bruce. Mitchy Poo, what do you think about that? Maybe. We'll see if we can book something. Eagles have moved up to number 2. They're number 1. I'm sure you would love that. Phil, if you become more famous, you should lend you chat with $1. You should lend you chat with $1. Oh, you want me to loan you $1 when I'm famous? Maybe. The Giants. I agree the Giants are the biggest rival. Your chat group with $1. Maybe. I'm not famous, though. I say Giants, but only because my family had some Giants fans in it. Those Garners were, yeah. Yeah, absolutely agree. Phil, but right now the Giants and Cowboys and Commanders could put together one team with all their best players and the Eagles would still win. That's a fantastic comment from Bruce. That the entire NFC East, you group all their best players here. Who would be in the quarterback? It would be Jaden Daniels, CeeDee Lamb, and Terry McLaurin. It would be, I guess, Brian Robinson. Man, it'd be hard to put together. You can put together a solid offense. The defense wouldn't be much of anything. Honestly, I haven't even looked at who's played on Christmas, honestly. Last few years, it's definitely been Washington. Agreed. What there to do on a cruise? Eat, drink, gamble, sleep, visit islands, play games, do everything. Plenty to do. For those that don't know, I worked on a cruise ship for 2 years as an entertainer. So, I'm partial to the cruise vacation, but I've been to all these places a million times. So that's that. Guys, you're watching Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network, setting the trends for what sports talk should be in Philadelphia. And I say that because I want to shout some people out that have been on this show in the past. I say setting the trends for what sports talk and Sports Talk Network should be. Because all city, PHLY, when not just the Philly location one that has the competitor, Mr. Marks and Gargano on it, but PHLY laid off two fantastic people yesterday that were guests on this show in the past. One that I consider a friend. Then they've laid people off across all their cities. They got a $12 million investment, and then they laid people off 1 week before Christmas. And that's Renee Washington, who was a great guest months back, does great Phillies coverage there for PHLY, and my man JPP El Parcero laid off from them. Got to live his dream job. But the fact that these bigger networks, or people that think they're bigger networks, that have these big people, they bring in people to build their network, then they build their network up and bring in big name people and fire the people that built the network. And not only did they laid off these people, because it's laid off, not fired, to lay people off 1 week before Christmas has got to be one of the shoddiest things you could do as an organization. In what world do you lay off people Christmas week? Why would you do that? And JP, El Parcero, he's the man. You gave him some tough gigs. Trying to be the third wheel in an Anthony Gargano show. He was obviously going to struggle. But in what world is it okay to lay people off 7 days before Christmas? Like, why? And JP is the man. And Renee Washington, she's got other gigs with ESPN and all, and college networks that she'll be fine. She's well-known, talented individual. Young, but talented. JP, man, it just breaks my heart to see them lay these people off. Talented people. Because they're probably, the real reason is because they're spending so much money on John Marks and Anthony Gargano, who I love John Marks, well, I used to, before he wanted to be my competitor. And Gargano, the guys that have passed their prime. I don't want to hear Gargano rant anymore. You guys want to hear me rant. So PHLY, All City Sports, and they laid off like 25 people across 4 cities this week. It's embarrassing. Meanwhile, they're trying to start new cities. And the other cities that they're trying to start, if you're a young and up-and-coming content creator, don't fall for the trap to start with them. Help them build it up, because then they're just going to let you go and bring in the bigger names once they're making enough money. And I think it's pretty embarrassing what they've done. And there's a lot of people that support them and give them a lot of money, whether it's super chats or sign up. You got to be their subscriber list. It's like $80 a year. Get the fook out of here with that. Giving millionaires more money so they can fire good, hardworking people because you want to bring in more famous people. Really annoying. Sorry, wanted to go on that thread. But that's why I say STT Sports Network is setting the trends for what the shows and sports networks should be. And that's why I appreciate you guys every single morning here on this show, because we built a family here. And it drives me nuts. Back to the comments. Brian Robinson already messed up and told a news show. I did see that. That Brian Robinson gave us bulletin board material for sure. I don't know why a team would do that. A player would do that. Can't you do that at the crib? I could do some of it, but I want to go on a cruise ship. Also, it'll be sunny and warm on the cruise. Some of it. We're leaving out of Jersey, which means the first day will be cold. Go to St. Pete. I love St. Pete. I've been there before. Maybe you could do a Hawk 2 like stuff on a live stream. What? I'm not doing any Hawk 2, okay? Never will, never have. Phil, how you feel about direct competition? Look, I don't care that they compete. My stuff will always be better. And percentage of subscribers I have to viewers, knock them out of the park. I got like 40,000 subscribers over there, and they get like 400 views. Me, I got 308, and I get 100 plus views. I get 40% of my subscriber count watching every single day. They're getting like 5% max. I don't know if it's a rant. It was definitely a rant, for sure, and I apologize. If the Philadelphia Eagles win out the regular season and get the 1 seed, they will have to win 16 in a row to win the Super Bowl. 17 if they don't get the number 1 seed. Very hard to do. Yeah, Steve. It doesn't mean that I want them to lose a game so that that's not the case. It doesn't mean that. I still want them to win out and win all the way through. I know it's tough, but I'd much rather that than the alternative of them losing, because I will not root for them to lose, so to speak. There's this Mexi guy from TNI who picks a fight with UFC fighter and gets beat up on live TV to get really famous. So, yeah, look, I ain't doing that either, okay? I ain't doing no Octui. I ain't getting beat up. I mean, Eric dropped 500 on Marks. Who? Oh, you've seen Eric, yeah? He's giving the 500 super chat for real to Marks. For me, he just gives me the fake one every single time. Why shouldn't you beat Washington? They stink. The Washington Commanders do not stink. They're not elite, but they do not stink. I mean, Brian Robinson looks like a Pro Bowl running back, but he's talking directly. Yeah, look, if you're about to face Jalen Carter and this Eagles defense, why would you try to motivate them and piss them off? Why? Why would you do something like that? It's insanity. Like, it makes no sense why you'd even completely, remotely, in any form, try to motivate Jalen Carter to be even meaner and nastier and more pissed off than he already is on a daily basis. Like, seriously. It makes no sense why you would consider that. Phil, I feel you were right. Horrible to do right now at Christmas, and I'm glad you said that. Look, I don't know if I have a heart of gold. There's plenty of people that don't like me, for sure. I got my enemies. I look at myself in the mirror, and I look at myself, and I'm okay. I don't do anything, that makes me not sleep at night. But these bigger networks, they're supposed to be different. Well, that's why this network is different, okay? Because I care about all you. I want you all to be interactive. You don't have to pay a penny to have your opinion heard here. When I get to 500, when I get the super chats activated. Sure, I appreciate it, and I've received super chats before. I appreciate that stuff, but it's not necessary. I want you to have an option. I want you to go to a place where you won't be badmouthed for having an opinion. I don't badmouth Duck because I disagree with him. I don't badmouth the Pump Man because I disagree with him on Jalen Hurts. I don't badmouth anybody. I want everybody to have a safe place to go and have a fun morning or evening and talk sports, which is what it should be. People change once they become monetized. I mean, I've worked for monetized channels. It don't change me. I've kept the same personality for 4 years running plus since my first podcast ever. My first recorded podcast was the day after the 2020 NFL draft where we drafted Jalen Hurts. It was the first time I recorded anything live ever. It was at April 2020. I haven't changed. I've stayed the same. And my mindset has stayed the same. And I've learned things along the way. But that's about it. I would love it. My wife would appreciate it too. She wants that money back coming in. She wants that money coming in again. And we were making money before. We ain't making money now. But whatever. Anyway, let's get back to the sports talk. Let's get back to the Eagles. The hype train being for real. The more drama that was tried to be stirred up by Jay Glazer that was shot down. Do we think that what Jay Glazer reported about Big Dom and Brandon Graham going to Jalen Hurts' house during the bye week actually did happen? I mean, I know Jalen Hurts and Brandon Graham refuted this report, but do we believe that maybe they just said that to shut it up and maybe that it did happen? Because we did see after the bye week a different Jalen Hurts. We did see a different brand of Jalen Hurts, a different style of him personality-wise. We've seen him smile more frequently. Just throwing that out there. Other Eagles news, if you didn't hear, Bryce Huff, his practice window was open yesterday. So there's a chance Bryce Huff will be back soon. Are we okay? Are we happy with that? What kind of role will Bryce Huff have? Sirianni is for real. Get on the fan train. Look, I don't need to get on. I'm the conductor of the train. Yes, it did. Hurts is too busy. Yes, it did. What happened? I don't know. I don't know if it happened or not. I mean, Hurts' personality is determined and no time for bonding. Maybe. Maybe you're right for that. Phil, what you going to do when Packers who got it together now? Well, we've beaten the Packers already, but I have heard a lot of people tell me that the Packers are the Eagles' biggest threat. Jordan Love's playing at a different level than week 1 in Brazil. Brazil! I haven't said that in a while. I even forgot to say it. But maybe. I mean, the Packers are an elite run team as well. They got strong wide receivers. I'm not scared of them. Their defense is solid. And if they make it far enough to face us in the playoffs, you know, that proves what they are. Well, it's Big Dom, and that's what they did in The Sopranos. Huff is a nice addition to defense end rotation. He was starting to play well when the injury happened, so glad he's back. I agree. Now, Nick Sirianni did say yesterday he's not sure when he'll be back. The window's open, but they're not sure. And Vic Fangio did say before that news broke that he's very confident in the current rotation, and he likes it being a 3-man rotation. Right now, they're basically just playing Nolan Smith and Josh Sweat every play with Jelks Hunt mixed in. I mean, it's a very small. We're used to a big defensive line rotation. Fangio's got it tightened up pretty tight right now. Very few people getting opportunities. So, you know, there's that aspect of it as well. Look, Bryce Huff was playing better before he got hurt. Not much, but better. But to have that depth there is very important. Because if one of those guys goes down, there's not many other options. I'd rather Bryce Huff than Chris Harris, who hasn't even seen the field yet. Packers are paper. That's what I would say and think. But from the comments I got when I asked this question on Twitter, there's a lot of Eagles fans that don't agree with that, Rick. So we will see in the playoffs if we face them. Lions 3, Chiefs 4, Vikings 5. Yeah, maybe. The gatekeeper is here. What is up, Eric? The show can finally begin now that you're in the chat. Hurts was able to get with the team and be the leader, and all the leaders show love to his empire to be the 300. Is he the leader of the 300? The 53. Yeah, Kirk Cousins was benched. Good old Atlanta. Love it. Okay, I'm going to say something nice about Nick Sirianni. His pressers have gotten more professional. His pressers, to be honest, Doc, have gotten boring to me. Like, I watch every Nick Sirianni, Vic Fangio, Kellen Moore press conference. I got to get notes for my Eagles checkdown show. I like to hear what they say. I sit and I listen to them straight through and I take notes. And I get so little out of the Nick Sirianni press conference anymore. He has turned into Andy Reid with the, yep, we got to do better. Yep, I'm going to keep that in-house. Like, he's gotten so professional with them. And it's boring. Depth is always a good thing at every position, Eric, in every sport. Big money, Eric. Yeah, Eric, I heard you drop $500 super chats on the competitors every day. What's up with that? The Eagles team fears nobody, nor should they. Rick, I agree with you. I agree. I think the Eagles are the best team in football right now. There's an argument to be made, the Bills, but that's it. This is not a Homer hype train. This is 14 weeks of evidence that the Eagles are, without a doubt, the best NFC team and maybe the best NFL team. They have the best defense in football and one of the best offenses in football. They got an MVP at running back and an MVP at quarterback and an MVP on the defensive line. Plain and simple. So they shouldn't fear anybody. It doesn't mean they can't be beat, though. On any given Sunday, anybody can win. I hate it when the world blames Hurts for saying, is that what you wanted to see? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, are you not entertained? He was channeling his Maximus Decimus Meridius, commanders of the high armies of the north. He was channeling his gladiator there. Mad tidings. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. We normalize saying Merry Christmas on this show. Exactly. That's professionalism. That's fine. It's fine. Who cares about his press conference? That's for nitpicking. Dude is a winner. Exactly, Rick. I don't care about the press conferences, except for the fact that I need his press conferences to give me content for for the show I do on the Pinpull Podcast Network. I need content for that. So I need that. But he doesn't give it. Look, all I care about is winning as well. That's all we all care about is winning. For all of us that disagree on Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, or whatever with the Eagles, when the Eagles hoist the Super Bowl trophy, we're all going to be on the same page celebrating, right? I mean, that's really the way it plays out. Instead of telling everyone who's injured and who's playing, why give anyone an advantage? I get it. I agree. Suggestions popped up. The Mista Show. Mista have a show? Nick triggers my ADHD brain. He definitely would have given up his lunch money to me in high school. You're a bully, Eric. You're the big bad bully wolf. James Cook is get that shit out of here. Get your soft ass buffalo ass out of here. We as Eagles fans are lucky to be witnessing the beginning of the first dynasty in Philly sports. Enjoy. You got to win a title first, Rick. At least one title before you use that. Okay. You want Cook more, baby. Oh man. Now my $500 super chat are for the VCP only. Muchas gracias. Barkley is going to turn on his playoff mode soon to beat the Lions and the Bills. I hope so. You are a Broad Street bully, Eric. How dare you? You know what I did to bullies? I beat their asses. Well, not regularly. I let them bully me. And then I realized I could beat their asses. We all celebrating Christmas and Phil think it's spring break. What? It's Festivus before Christmas. We'll have our Festivus show on Monday. Meanwhile, Nick probably be the one taking that dude's lunch money. Probably. How do we only have 11 likes on this video? 2 are by me. That means only 9 of you have liked this video. There are 14 of you only watching right now, which means there should be at least 16 likes on this video. Come on now. Let's go. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. 308 subscribers ain't close enough to 500 for me. So let's go. Like, share, subscribe. We got about 10 minutes left in the show today. So let's go. Get 15 in about 5 seconds. What? Don't use the D word. It was supposed to happen after 17. Exactly. I agree with that. I don't like the dynasty thing. I mean, in this day and age, especially in football with salary caps and stuff like that, and the contracts, it's hard to do what the Chiefs are doing. It's hard to do. You got to get really lucky for that. Always was fun kicking a bully's ass. Nice watching them come back to reality. Yeah, look, I was bullied a lot in elementary school and in early parts of high school. Even being a big man like I am, I'm 6'2", 220, and I was always a big kid. It was hard for me growing up. I was bullied very frequently. Then it realized once in elementary school and it didn't stick, or middle school, and then in high school at one point, I did turn the tides. I did knock somebody out, and then things got better for me. Didn't realize my own strength till I learned my own strength. But I'm a big believer in anti-bully campaigns as well, Rick. So yeah, some of the 12 are traitors. Absolutely. I don't chat without hitting that like. I know you do, my man. I know you're always proud to hit that like button. We need to keep Mahomes from 4 in a row, is it? Somebody's got to knock Mahomes down. You got to. It's like paying for your chat with a quarter. Yeah, is that what it is? Dynasty is beginning right before our eyes. Look, I get what I agree with you, but I also agree with what Duck said. That word dynasty is something that can change like that, Rick. Somebody gets hurt, so we lose a play. Who knows what happens? Let's just enjoy this season. Let's just enjoy the win this year, and then we can move on. And then next year, let's just take each year individually. We thought we had a dynasty with the Sixers. We thought we had a dynasty with the Phillies, and it's just not the case. How? Because there's a lot that goes into it. Okay, self-confidence issues mainly. first thing I do is hitting that like button. Well, I appreciate that. If there's only 11 likes, there's a lot of you that haven't hit that like button. And hitting that like button builds the algorithm, which gets me in front of more faces, which means then the subscriber count goes up more, which that means the like count goes up more, which that means I can be monetized, which is all we want. If you ain't win 3 straight titles, you're not a dynasty. Yeah, what makes a dynasty? How many titles you got to win? The D name is earned, not given. Yeah, exactly. Can't live in fear. Speaking the Eagles championship into existence. I love it. I love you doing that. STT Sports Network doesn't wrap it up. Remember, the wrap it up says this is a clown show. Don't forget that. All right? Don't forget that. Mahomes win 20, 23, 24. Hurts goose egg. Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see. No doubting that Mahomes is the GOAT in the NFL right now. There's no doubting that Patrick Mahomes is already one of the 5 greatest quarterbacks of all time. No doubt about it. Patrick Mahomes is special. Patrick Mahomes is practicing fully this week on a high ankle sprain. You need clickbait titles like are the Eagles, the Italian Mafia. I will never, Joe, ever go the clickbait route, even if it means a slow grind to the top. I will always stay true to who I am. Never clickbait. Hurts goose egg for now, but that all changes. I hope so. I believe so, and I hope so. Get the Super Bowl most of the decade and winning 6% or better. Mahomes uses steroids, his voice on helium. It's Kermit the Frog, man. Does Wentz play this week? No. It looks like Mahomes is playing. Mahomes is drugged up like he was in during the Eagles Super Bowl. I wouldn't be shocked. A lot of cortisone shots going into that man. Pooh Wentz play I want to see. I would love to see the Chiefs-Eagles in the Super Bowl with Wentz starting for the Chiefs. Wouldn't that be something? And we could get our revenge on Carson Wentz for ruining that dynasty. We could just shut him down again. Could you imagine Carson Wentz's mental state if the Eagles beat him in the Super Bowl and he was the starter? Could you imagine what that would do to already a weak, mentally weak man like him? That would be something. I don't like doing clickbait. That's not me. Andy Reid does a great Mahomes impersonation, does he? I don't know about that. That Pat dude yelled at me. What? Who? Saw what? Oh, Pat Bernard. Chiefs got a lot of help from the refs over the past years. Absolutely. Eagles ain't going to need the Zebras' help. I will say this, that we think the refs give the Chiefs a lot of help, but I forget what stat I was looking at. The Eagles were at the bottom of it penalty-wise. I think opponents, or the difference between penalties called for or against them. The Chiefs are at the bottom of that list right there with the Eagles. So we feel the big plays, the Chiefs get a lot of help on the big plays and the big moments from the rest, but big picture each game, they're not getting the help that we think they are. It's more of a scenario where just in the big moments they're getting that help. When I'm downtown and go to walk for a cheesesteak, it's so far away. That's probably why Pat yelled at you. Guys, all right, we're getting close to the wrap-up time today. We really didn't get any Phillies conversation in. I really wanted to talk about Dave Dombrowski and how he's failed his reputation here in Philadelphia. Maybe we'll save that for Festivus and airing of the grievances on Monday. I believe Monday is Festivus, right? The 23rd. Today's the 19th. 20th is Friday. 21st. Yeah, Monday is Festivus. So we will air our grievances on Monday. And maybe I'll air some grievances towards Dave Dombrowski on that show. Wentz would begin his supervillain story arc with a loss to Hurts. Yeah, absolutely. No yells at me if I don't order fast enough. No soup for you. What will you do if Eagles win the Super Bowl? What will I do? Do I have to do something other than celebrate? I'll be right here live on this show popping champagne at 8 a.m. the next morning. I'll still be drunk from the night before. Let's hope I don't have another heart attack. I didn't really have a heart attack, but I always say I feel like my heart skipped a few beats when they won the Super Bowl. God, thank you very much. I appreciate you, Rick. You are the man. He says, I'm holding up the line. Whatever. Celebrate like it was 2017. A lot has changed in my life since 2017. For sure. Some here. What? Phil will not wrap it up if the Eagles win. Look, I'm a grown man. I don't have to do that anymore. What will Phil do when Bills get that ring? I don't know. Phil will have on the Mummers outfit. No, I don't own a Mummers outfit. Sorry. I think the Mummers are extremely overrated. I think it's one of the most overhyped things in Philadelphia. Culture and history and stuff. I do not understand it. Most of the Mummers are extremely racist people and awful individuals. Guys, do this right here. Check out Two Birds, One Show tonight, 10 p.m. on YouTube for Eagles talk and lots of beer. I know I'll be watching. Guys, check this out. If I can ask you, if you're not going to like this video, if you're not going to share it out and get me subscribers, find Rick's show, Two Birds, One Show on YouTube tonight, 10 p.m. He does a fantastic job. Guys, check this out right here, please. Does it lose excitement after you win a Super Bowl? Never experienced. No, it does not. It never does. I've never won a second, though. Whoa, easy on the Mummers. The Mummers suck. K1's waiting for something to get me on. He was busy watching another chess match to comment on the show. I make one Mummers comment and boom. It's almost like I said something. It's like I called out Kenny Gainwell or something there with that. K1 shows right up on that Mummers comment. Never watched the Mummers. Would rather watch Chris. I never understood it. And then I start learning about how awful the individuals are, or a lot of the teams are in it. Done. Have nothing to do with the Mummers. I love the Mummers. I have issues that they piss on the wall of home in the neighborhoods around it. Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Don't like it. I just happen to live 4 blocks from 2nd Street. Okay. Bills versus Vikings, the battle of 4 losses. 2017, there was fans eating horse poo, and it went viral. So, no, I would never do that. Kenny Gainwell definitely gained well. That's not as funny as you think it is. Rumors has it Kenny Gainwell is a closet mummer. Really? Mummer haters. Jeez. The Mummers, I just don't get it. It's not entertaining to me one bit. I don't get it, the glitter. I don't get it at all. Mummers looking for a reason to get drunk and dress as women. I don't need a reason. I don't need to come up with a reason to get drunk. I just get drunk. Lies, it's greatness. Guys, all right, it's time. It's time to wrap this shebang up for the day. We'll be back tomorrow, normal time, 8 a.m. As always, closing my book for the day. Please, one more time, like, share, subscribe. The march to 500 continues. We hope to get there by the end of the year. Doubt it'll happen. I'm being a little pessimistic on that, but maybe it happens. I know several Mummers, and they are good people. Yes, other aren't great, but that with any group of people. That's true. That's true. What do I do? I thought you said you weren't podcast. I didn't podcast yesterday morning. Yesterday morning was my morning off. I have a good one. Thanks for the show. Travis, thanks for joining. Missed you in the chat the last couple months. That's 7 minutes of value, Phil. Well, the show's not over yet, but I could do whatever I want. I gave you guys 100 minutes the other night. All right? Go Birds. Mummers, greater than Washington. Bubbles up. That's right. I knew another. Phil and value, be like, whatever. I wish. I could use it right now. Guys, with that being said, we are wrapping it up. So we'll be back tomorrow with our Eagles Commanders preview and prediction show, plus whatever else comes up today in Philadelphia sports, which there's always something that comes up. So with that being said, guys, really simple as always. Thank you for tuning in. Go Birds. Bubbles up.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep.